At the beginning of the story, we see a beautiful girl getting out of a car. She is so beautiful that no one can take their eyes off her. This beautiful girl's name is Sarah. While Sarah was changing her dress in a shopping mall, suddenly a man appeared. When Sarah saw him, she became very scared. The man started attacking her there, but she managed to escape. However, he followed Sarah back into the shopping mall. Fortunately, the police arrived and arrested the man. Later, Sarah was sitting with the mall manager when her eyes wandered to a TV program that looked familiar to her. The program on TV was a reality show that featured the struggles of overweight women. The ultimate winner would receive money for body modification surgery. One of the contestants looked very familiar to Sarah, though she couldn't place why. The contestant's name was Gimran. As the show continued, they showed Gimran struggling with daily activities. Once, while handling fish, it slipped from her hands, causing her to lose balance and fall into the water. Due to her weight, Gimran had difficulty maintaining her balance. Another time, while returning home from the market, she fell while boarding a bus. Sadly, no one helped her up. Instead, they mocked her. Gimran was married, and her in-laws frequently criticized her about her weight. Sarah later learns from visitors that Gimran's husband has been away for 7 years, living abroad. After returning home, Sarah tells her servant about the threatening man who followed her earlier, requesting that every window and door be secured carefully as she fears he might return to harm her. The story returns to Gimran, showing her wearing a pink dress while video calling her husband. Her two sisters-in-law laugh at her appearance. They behave like typical antagonists from Bengali movies. Despite their cruel treatment, Gimran endures their behavior while desperately wanting to reduce her weight and become slim like others. Watching Gimran's struggles on TV, Sarah hopes she will win the competition to receive the body modification surgery and reunite with her husband. Unfortunately, Gimran is eliminated in the finals. This devastates everyone, including Sarah, who decides to help Gimran. She immediately calls the show's producer, insisting they must make Gimran win. However, the producer reveals that Gimran withdrew from the competition herself. Surprised by this news, Sarah begins researching Gimran's story online. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to Gimran attempting to call her husband. Instead, his housekeeper answers and reveals that her husband isn't in America as she believed, but in Seoul. We then meet Gimran's husband, Kangu. When Gimran travels to meet him, she hears a woman's voice in his apartment. She hides in their bedroom and witnesses something heartbreaking that evening, her husband being intimate with another woman named Kingju. After waiting 7 years for him, this discovery devastates her. The next day, Gimran confronts Kingju at a restaurant. Gimran pleads with her, explaining how she waited 7 years and cared for her husband's family. She begs Kingju not to take her husband away. Kingju initially agrees to end the relationship, but then cruelly points out that Gimran's husband doesn't love her anymore. When Gimran protests that they're already married, Kingju reveals she initially felt sorry for Gimran, but now pities Kanju for marrying someone like her. Kingju acknowledges that Kanju's family was poor during their marriage, and that his success as a company CEO wouldn't have been possible without Gimran's support, but argues that Gimran is no longer suitable for him. During their heated conversation, Kingju falls due to an accident involving Gimran's body and is seriously injured. She's rushed to the hospital and the police come to arrest Gimran. However, Kangju intervenes to prevent her arrest. While Gimran is momentarily happy to have her husband's protection, he informs her that this is the last time he will help her and announces it's the final day of their married life, leaving Gimran heartbroken. She pleads with Kangju not to end their marriage, but he doesn't listen. He removes the wedding ring from her finger and returns it to Gimran. After this, Gimran goes directly to her mother-in-law, who already knows about her son's affair. The mother-in-law tells Gimran that her son is now the CEO of a major company. Both sisters-in-law were already aware of their brother's affair, and they had never liked Gimran. Witnessing all of this, Gimran breaks down in tears, feeling completely alone. The only person in the household who cares for Gimran is her father-in-law, whom everyone in the family fears. Her father-in-law is a principled man who never tolerates injustice. Afterward, Gimran retreats to her room, sits at her dressing table, and cries alone while thinking about Kangju. Meanwhile, Sarah continues to think about how she can help Gimran. Following an address she received, Sarah meets a girl who is Gimran's friend. This friend reveals that Gimran died 49 days ago. Gimran's mother committed suicide, but she never knew about Kangju's affair. The friend explains they kept this information from Gimran's mother, fearing it would devastate her, and they handled Gimran's death quietly. Suddenly, a man appears and strikes Sarah, rendering her unconscious. This man is Tahi, the same person who had followed Sarah at the shopping mall earlier. Tahi puts Sarah in his car and drives away. When Sarah regains consciousness, she tries to escape from the moving vehicle and Tahi pursues her. During their confrontation, Sarah accuses Tahi of being a psychotic murderer, but he tells her she's confused and has forgotten something important. Sarah is stunned when Tahi reveals that she is actually Gimran. It's revealed that while driving emotionally, Gimran had an accident when another car appeared suddenly. Blinded by its headlights in the darkness, she couldn't control the brakes and her car plunged into the sea. Gimran survived but, upon returning home, found her family conducting her funeral. Hidden away, she witnessed her mother crying while her husband Kangju, mother-in-law, and sisters-in-law showed no signs of grief, appearing almost relieved by her apparent death. This experience hardens Gimran's resolve. She goes to Tahi, who is a plastic surgeon, and begs him to change her appearance. Though initially reluctant to operate on a stranger, Tahi eventually agrees after Gimran's persistent pleading. She expresses her desire for revenge against those who mistreated her. During the surgery, Gimran received heavy anesthesia which caused periodic memory loss about her identity. After the surgery, she emerged with a new identity as Sarah. It's revealed that Tahi had been pursuing Sarah throughout the story to give her medication, but she had forgotten about her plastic surgery and didn't recognize him, explaining her earlier fearful reactions. They return to Tahi's house, where Sarah now lives. She cooks for him and repeatedly apologizes for her previous behavior. She signs a contract in blood, agreeing to follow Tahi's instructions since he performed her surgery for free and provided her with shelter and protection. When Tahi asks about her revenge plans, Sarah confidently responds that her new beauty is enough. Meanwhile, Kangju and Kangju's relationship flourishes, and they become inseparable. Tahi has gathered detailed information about Kangju's schedule and travel plans. He informs Sarah that the couple has gone abroad, despite it being the 49th day since her death, a significant day in Korean culture when souls are believed to transition from earth to heaven. Sarah is hurt that her husband is traveling with another woman on such an important day. She vows extreme revenge against Kangju, and Tahi agrees to help, but advises that she must first become stronger internally, as she's only changed externally. He suggests she should first make her husband fall in love with her new appearance before taking revenge. Sarah agrees to follow Tahi's plan. Meanwhile, Kangju and Kangju's relationship, which they had kept secret, becomes public when a picture of them goes viral on social media. Upon seeing this, Sarah returns home and burns all of Gimran's clothes, promising to become a new person. Tahi and Sarah form an alliance with him contributing intelligence and her contributing beauty. They promise to stay united and avoid misunderstandings between them. The first episode of the series ends here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to comment below and tell me what kind of movie or series you want me to recap next.